Hey there, YouTube. This is one of the most interesting record players, phonographs, whatever you want to call it, that I've found in a while. This one is by AIWA, Iowa, and I'll be able to give you the model number here in just a bit. Let's get it rolling so you can see how it looks here. So you note that it is a front load. It has a tray. It calls it an automatic disc loading mechanism. Let's see here, we're going to do some Tchaikovsky. Anyways, the disc is kind of dirty, so we're just going to roll with that. So if I give it a good shove, it's going to go in, it's going to load, and then if I just tell it to go ahead and play, it's going to spin up. Go into play. Now this one has a broken piece that doesn't allow this button to behave correctly or to stay in the appropriate spot. I don't think. I don't know. It might be that it's supposed to act like that. It's a D50. Full automatic direct drive turntable system D50. Now, I've been playing discs on this for about 30 minutes, just trying different discs. And what caught me off guard was I put a really bad test disc on here to start with. And it should have been really staticky. It should have had a lot of pops in it, and it didn't. So the cartridge on here is probably really good. There's also some circuitry. So I actually bought this non-functional. It was just an intriguing item. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. At worst, I was going to part it out. And what turned out to be the issue was the drive belts for this were broken, and the plate on here, when it was spinning, would scratch. It would that kind of noise. You know, it was making contact. And what ended up being the issue were some pads that had compressed over time, and so they weren't separating the plate from the bottom plate. There's two plates in it, enough to raise it so that it wouldn't make contact with the surrounding plastic. So one of the other things I noticed about this particular player is that over time, this poor cover, you know, it just did not have enough reinforcement right here, so it actually makes contact with this piece. So the drive piece that pops it out would never really actually work now unless you reinforced this, which I imagine if you found like a nice piece of aluminum, you could reinforce it. And it would still look halfway decent, like maybe run a piece of aluminum across here or something. Anyways, it's got this neat little cleaner for your stylus. The lock for the rest mechanism is shot. It's snapped off. I could not find the piece. It's got the anti-skate, all of the normal adjustments, weight, and all of that. The head comes completely off. And let's see here, what else? Let's go ahead and tear it down. I'm going to hit the eject button. Now, I made the mistake of putting some lubricant too close to one of the belts, so the eject actually does not work real well. So it may just need oiled up somewhere else as well. So okay, so theoretically that's all I would have had to do, right? And so I have my disc here. They were smart enough to put a little rubber bit right here, or plastic, so if you hit your disc on it, record on it, it wouldn't mess it up. Did not have the original plate cover, so I had this cork. I just keep these hanging around because I typically find that, well, here's an example of one. I got this one the other day, a record player the other day, and it's just, this thing was just hard as a rock, so it got one of the cork as well. I like the cork anyway, so. All right, back in the trash can. Okay, so it has this upper plate here, and this plate, when I bought it, you'll see these little felt pads here. They're compressed. I just put little rubber pads on here, spaced them out, quad design. It looks like they had 4 as well, and that did it. That fixed it. And so it has a little seat right here that will mount up to this seat right here, and this one's got it's kind of sloped on the top, so it just slides down and nestles onto it, and then these are what's making contact to help it get grip. So let's go ahead and put this in here, and it did say, of course, that it was a direct drive, so you can pull this off. And this is actually pretty stout. This is one of the heavier plates. I would say it's definitely up there. I don't know how much it weighs, but well, I can weigh it here real quick. It's 2 pounds and 4 ounces, so it's heavier. And anytime when I'm working on one of these, just in case I find the other pieces, so this is what I suppose is probably the piece that's keeping that from functioning correctly. And if I find, if I find a reason to get in there again, I'll go searching. Okay, so when I bought it, like I said, the eject mechanism wasn't working. And there are 2 belts in here. So there's a motor back here that drives the first set of gears, and then there's another set that's driven subsequently by another belt. Both of them serve different functions. One of them raises it, one of them lowers it. And so right now, again, one of the belts, I got oil on it, so that's a bad thing. It's never going to really do a good job because of that. But, well, there it goes. It worked fine without the weight of the disc on there. So let's see here if we... Alright, works perfect without a disc on there. That's awesome. So anyways, those were really difficult to get. And to actually tear it down, I had to take the head off, take the counterweight off, and unscrew the tone arm itself from the balancing brackets in here. And then I had to take off this piece and of course unscrew everything, and then the front comes off, and then lifting it up I had to weasel my way around this, and then there were 3 connections to a circuit board that's sitting right here, and once I got that all taken apart, it was really easy to get to the mechanism. Now, if you're faint of heart and you're worried about, you're not really secure about yourself working on electronics or repairing things like this, this one isn't one to go and dive into repairing. I would say it took me about a total of 2 hours, just because it took so long to figure out how to break it down, because there's absolutely hardly jack material out there for this particular turntable. So, and let's set her back up. Alright. And I think the little the rubber spacers that I put in there are probably just a little bit too tall, so I'll probably go searching for a better substitute at some point. Oh, and then over here, this is one of my favorite. This is a CA20. It's an old Fisher, and I just absolutely love it. It's just so small, it's simple, and it works every time. It got shipped back to me because a person said it wasn't working, and when I got it here and plugged it in, it was working just fine. So I was like, all right, that's just a sign that I'm keeping this one. So all right, let's go ahead and play the record again. So cool. And see again, so you can hear it tried to drop it, but then that has to be down for it to actually drop. Let's see here. Oh. That's a little bit of a vibration to it. So it's getting some, I don't know if you can hear that on the GoPro there, but it has a little bit of low end hum to it. Imagine it's got something to do with something not being working right over here and causing a little bit of vibration. So cool. All right, let's eject. If you just hit the eject button, it takes care of everything. It's pretty cool. Anyways, if you've seen something like that, something like this, yeah, the weight alone is enough to keep it from working. Should have probably put smaller, shorter belts on there. I had nothing to size it from because the old belts had turned into goo. And man, I probably spent 30 minutes just cleaning that crap out. I hate that stuff. Anyways, so if you've ever seen something like this, drop a note in the comments. And I've seen other ones, like I've had the Sony front load, I don't know, it's a 77 I think, or a 7 something I believe, and I liked it. It was great, but you know, my preference are the linear tracking where the needle is up here. I like to switch discs quick, and so if I hit the eject or reject, raise it, flip my disc out, put my new disc in, by the time I lower it, it's already back to start position, hit play, and it's off and running again. That's my preferred player, but this one is going to probably stay in my collection just because it's so dang cool. All right, thanks for watching.